Warning, the following podcast contains adult content that may offend some people. Listener discretion is advised. Howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of Babblegum. I'm Jambareeqi, and joining me is FoulFangedFiend.
Yep.
Whyboy.
Yeah.
TheBlueHairedCyborg.
I'm really feeling it.
And maybe Karan, we don't know because his Skype just keeps going on and off, so we don't know if he's going to be here or not.
He's toying with our hearts.
Okay, so we have an announcement to make as well. Sadly, one of our members, Reverse Soda, has decided to leave, and we've really enjoyed his contribution to the show. He's been a great part of the Babblegum series. He was one of the original co-founders of this show. And to celebrate, here is a best of reel.
Hi, I'm Reverse Soda here. I'm a voice actor. I'm also a music composer, so I make composing music for my own cartoons and upcoming video games.
So what I did when I was younger is that I jumped around pretending like the floor is gonna crack, and everybody, including the teacher, was freaking out. And then I got in trouble.
So the store owner looked at the guy, Fluffy, just staring at him. Every time I take my bite.
Stop touching yourself, Reverse.
And now I feel sad.
You want a hug?
No.
Oh, okay, fine. Reject me then. Fine.
Now that I finished my second puberty, I can have a deep voice now.
Oh, come on!
So, if you think we sound interesting, if you think we sound entertaining, if you think this is the kind of thing I'd like to listen to on a routinely basis, then subscribe. And Elias is eating Pringles because he's a rude bastard.
So I had this Furby. One day, I guess the battery was running out, and it was like making this weird. I took out the batteries and put them on top of my TV and went back to bed. A few minutes later, it started making noise, like, you know, the wheels turnings and stuff with the wing flappings, the sound effects. And I'm like, what the fuck?
For a brief moment, I forgot I was part of the podcast.
Reverse, there's a simple explanation. You are the son of the devil.
That's what everybody says. That's what everybody's saying.
So here's a question. What do you guys personally think you're going to get out of this podcast series?
$20. You are paying me, right?
But then he doesn't want a Rainbow Power Ranger because it was rainbowish.
You're going to find a new way every time to piss us off.
That's what I do, man. That's what I do. By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
So in this episode, we're going to discuss nostalgic video games.
Yay.
Whoop, whoop.
So what was the first ever video game console that you guys got?
PlayStation 1, which I bought myself.
Nintendo 64.
My family was one of the few privileged ones to have both a Super Nintendo and a Sega Mega Drive.
Whoa there, man, whoa. Like, hang on.
You rich bastard.
The envy of...
Hey, like, that's like the bisexual way of doing it. Like, having like your foot in each one, just be like, yeah, you know, I've got my fingers in all the pies.
Don't ruin all the pies.
I love having it both ways.
I started off with a Sega Mega Drive, but then for some reason my family sold it, but it was okay because we got a PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which I loved, I really loved. I think my fondest memories of PlayStation 1... Well, I can go on...
Digimon World by any chance?
No, that's one of them, but I rented that, so it wasn't a recurring game. It was kind of like a brief moment of my life that was amazing. But there were other games. But we had a lot of like bootleg games of like monster trucks, Lemmings, which I just didn't get as a child. Lemmings, I didn't understand, and I just let the Lemmings down. I was like, what am I supposed to do? They just keep killing themselves.
How do I stop them plummeting off the cliff?
It was horrible. But like the biggest memory I have of PlayStation 1 would have to be the PlayStation demo games. I actually got the PlayStation magazine, not to read it, but to play those demos.
Oh yes, the little special demo discs.
Oh, it was awesome because you never knew what was gonna be on the disc, and you just open it up like, oh, what is this game?
But then they'd give you like one level, and then say, oh, if you want to play the rest, you have to buy the game itself. And like, oh, you cocktease.
Yes.
No.
Just like Kuran was before this episode started.
For
for
me,
me-
yeah. I only got a Nintendo 64.
For me, for me,
Don't
you,
don't
for me.
interrupt me. I need to sing my dreams. Like for me, I didn't get the PS1 like you guys, you lucky bastards. I got the Nintendo 64 first. That was my first console, and I got the usual games like Super Mario 64 and all that, and that was super fun and all that. So I grew up as the Nintendo kid.
Ain't nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Hey, I'm a Nintendo kid as well, even though it wasn't my start.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Well, my brother had a Nintendo 64, but I did have a Game Boy original, and a Game Boy Color, and a Game Boy Advance.
Who mine?
It's not that impressive.
Oh yeah, me too. I had a yellow one, a green one, and one of the original colored ones. I can't even remember what color it was.
Well, like a purpley blue sort of colour. That's the only one I ever remember.
yeah, I
Striped one.
Yeah, I think that was it.
The leopard skin one.
No, I got that right now. Gosh. But yeah, it was great using like that little Game Boy thing. And, like, do you guys remember that little stupid little light that you had to plug into the Game Boy to like light it up because the screen was shit?
No, because I never had the original Game Boy.
I had the original Game Boy, but I kind of remembered that for some reason.
One of the like banes of your life, probably. Because it was like that with the Game Boy Advance as well. It didn't have a proper backlight until the SP, which is the one
Yeah.
I first had.
Really, that long?
Oh, the SP was awesome.
Oh yeah.
I carried that all the time as a kid.
SP with Pokemon Ruby was my first little flirtation with Nintendo. And I haven't gone back. Once you go Nintendo, you never go back.
Definitely.
Bitch.
Oh, my fondest Nintendo moment would have to be the day that we got Pokemon. Me and my brother got Pokemon games. He got Red, I got Blue. And stupidly, my parents
Yeah.
gave us these games at a family event. So we just spent the whole family event at the table playing Pokemon games, just telling our family to sod off and trying to decide which Pokemon to go with.
Sounds about right.
That just always happens.
Did any of you ever have a go at trading on Pokemon?
Once or twice.
No.
No.
Because I came to the party too late.
Because I did the worst thing ever to my brother. I was experimenting with it, and I kind of screwed up his whole game, and he was just stuck with a Ditto. Restart the game and just a Ditto.
It's funny that you mentioned the whole like being late to the party thing, because I remember I got into Pokemon when it was still relatively popular, but then I went off to America like for the summer. This was 2000, I think, and got to see the second Pokemon movie before everyone back home did. I remember going back to school and getting ready to boast about it. But then all of a sudden, all my peers weren't into Pokemon anymore. So it was exactly like that episode of South Park, Chin Pokemon, where like Kyle's always one step behind all the other kids.
You're Kyle.
Yeah, I'm Kyle. Yeah, it's like they all wanted to bomb Pearl Harbor, and then I just I didn't see the appeal.
A lot of my fondest gaming memories come from the PlayStation 1. Definitely.
Well, yeah.
Because when I got it, I bought it myself. I got some money at Christmas, and in the game sale after Christmas, I went and I bought the PlayStation 1, which is funny because later that year, the PlayStation 2 came out.
Oh dear.
That's how late to the party I was on that. I'm late to the party essentially all the time when it comes to video games.
You get there, all the booze is gone.
Pretty much, yeah. And you just have to spend the rest of the time sober while everyone else is drunk having fun. I know that feeling.
You know the feels.
Yeah. But, no, I think one of the best memories I have of the PlayStation 1 is... Well, there's two games, really, that stand out. Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. Because that was the hardest shit I have ever played in my life. Swear to God. The rules were total bullshit, but I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yu-Gi-Oh has rules?
Contrary to what you'd believe from the anime, yes. And they actually used the rules usually in the games, but this was at the time when they still didn't. And, oh, such a fun game. And the other one would have to be the Toy Story 2 game. I cleared that game so many times. I loved it so much. I would just sit there and play all the time.
Yeah, you just made me remember something else of the same line. Did you ever play the Bugs Life game?
No, my friend had it though, and whenever I went around to their house, I played it.
Yeah, I adored that game at a young age.
Yeah.
You had to go around flinging berries at grasshoppers.
Oh, I totally remember that.
I remember getting it. I just don't remember playing it. Because, like, for me, most of my video game memories come from renting games from our local Blockbuster, and we'd get really into them, and then we'd have to give them back after a week, and it was the most horrible thing ever.
You were begging them not to take it away.
I remember getting Small Soldiers, and
I love that game.
yeah, me and my brother used to do multiplayer for like ages and ages and ages, and then we had to give it back. And we were just like, we want the full game.
We want it for ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. I think like there was three other games, the PlayStation 1, which really kind of stand out as being like some of the best I played. Disney's Tarzan.
Oh yes.
Because I could not beat the final boss.
What was the final boss the big hunter guy?
Yeah. He just shot me in the face and I died.
I love that really happened. It was really violent.
I've tried that for years.
Well, of course, it's not like Tarzan has body armor on or anything.
That's literally like you just shoot me a couple times. I never even got a single hit in on him because you just have close combat. How are you supposed to like dodge past all these bullets which do a ton of damage every time? Like a couple of bullets at the face and you're dead.
You have any long distance weapons?
That's what I'm saying. It's like all close combat. So you have just your fists, and he has a gun. Yes, I'm going to bring fists to a gunfight. Have at thee.
You thought bringing a knife was bad?
Yeah, exactly. So, but other two, Hogs of War.
Oh, that sounds vaguely familiar.
Which
Hog of War.
It does sound familiar, but I don't remember any of it.
It's a British-made game, and it's the most racist thing I've ever seen in my life. Essentially, it's World War II with pigs. Like, the Germans are called the sauerkrauts. The British are called Tommy's Trotters.
Oh my god.
The Americans are called Uncle Sam's Hams.
That's kind of cute.
And then there's like, there's the Japanese, and it has something to do with sushi.
Oh god.
I thought it was hilarious because when you played as the English, they had like a different person from a different region of the UK. So you had like Scotsman, Welshman, Englishman, Irishman. And one of them, I always remember, it was a pig called Jones.
Jones.
And one of the things which was the best, my fondest memory of it, is I just pulled out a bazooka like right in front of this other guy. I think it was one of the French, funnily enough. So that's rather fitting. And he just goes, "Diver mess with a Geordie boy, man!" And just fires this bazooka.
What?
And it's just like, I am a Geordie, I approve of this greatly. And it's things like the Germans, they would go like, "Oh, schnell," and be like really, really stupid German accents that you could tell were really fakey done by a British person. And had names like Hair Gel.
Hair gel?
Yeah.
Oh man.
The most racist game I've ever seen in my life. And again, another one with an impossible final level, which I've never finished. And it was like Dune, where it was like, except instead of the spice, you had to get the swill. So basically it was oil.
Of course.
And you had to, and it was like so funny playing this game. I would spend hours playing it because it was just so funny. And the actual game itself, the game mechanics and the map layout and everything was really well done. It was just basically Britain's take on a war game, and it was hilarious. And for kids as well. It's like bringing kids up to be racist. But speaking of like the spice and everything, the other game I remember is Dune 2000, which is what got me into Dune in the first place. My mum picked it up randomly for me at like sale that was on my old school when she was working there, and she was just kind of, "Oh, here you go." It's like it was a double pack with Dune 2000 and Worms. Oh, and it was just, yeah. Again, Dune 2000 is another game I've never completed. Most of my fondest memories are games I've never finished.
Well, you suck at video gaming.
Well, we all sucked at video gaming at a certain age. But...
Yeah, but I think part of it is, even though I could never finish it, part of it was just going back and the joy of playing it and trying to get to the end of it. And I think as a kid, when you finally did, that was brilliant. But when you can never do it, sometimes it still holds that fascination for you because you want to know
That
how
mystique.
it ends, but you've never been able to do it. And it just sticks with you. It's like, I want to know.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I mean, if I went back now, I'd probably be able
Yeah.
to do it, but I just kind of haven't.
Did you
really?
have you ever played any of the Gex games?
Oh, I remember playing the demo.
Oh, pff,
I've heard of Gex. He was cool.
Again, the demo.
Yes, I mainly played demos.
it's funny though because the English version of the game had a different voice actor play Gex than the American one. They got like Leslie Phillips. So Gex talks like a really smooth, sexy kind of character. And it's just totally at odds of like the fact they just got some random American comedian to voice him in the. Yeah, I have a bit of a fondness for that game. Although some of the jumping controls are a bit naff, but
Yeah, early platformers always had those sort of like clunky jumping
but
controls.
I thought like the
Tomb Raider.
most perfect platformer of that era had to be the Crash Bandicoot 3.
Oh, you gotta love Crash Bandicoot.
I always wanted to play it.
I never owned them, but I played them at my friend's place. Because that was one of the great things about early video gaming, is you'd go around to your friend's place and play their games.
Yeah.
And, like, you would borrow each other's games and stuff like that as well. Like, that was brilliant. Just go to school, oh, I've got this game for you, like, and then just, like, swap games and stuff like that. I did that quite a bit at school.
Yeah, me too. The game that I did it mostly was with Halo. Like, I always went to my friend's house, and we played that all the time. Hey, don't you boo it. That was a fun game.
Microsoft fanboy.
The only time we get close to Halo is Red versus Blue, but that's another story for another time.
I just remembered another really strong PlayStation memory. It would have to be Abe's Odyssey.
Oh.
I loved Abe's Odyssey. It was one of the only games as a kid I was really, really good at. And I remember visiting a family friend, and she was very good at it as well. And every time I visited her, we just sat down and played the game non-stop. Just non-stop, while the family was doing, like, getting together and trying to reunite and have a laugh. We're just like, right, it's got to complete this level now. So yeah, it was a really cool game. What I love about Abe's Odyssey was that, like, it was very tense, and you could really get into the tension. It was quite scary at moments and very atmospheric. It was just a very effective game that asked you to rely on not just speed, but also think. You had to think. You had to kind of, like, work around what the world was giving you.
I like games like that, which is why I've got, like, such a fondness for the Legend of Zelda series now.
It's weird though, because Ocarina of Time seems to have become that yardstick by which all future Zelda games must be measured by.
And honestly, it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's just a weird sort of situation.
It was revolutionary. It's the same with a lot of N64 games, like Donkey Kong 64, Super Mario...
GoldenEye!
Yes,
Yeah,
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Never played it, but still really want to. I'm hoping it comes out in the Virtual Console.
GoldenEye, there was meant to be it was meant to be on Virtual Console apparently some time ago, but like they couldn't get into an agreement between Rare and Nintendo and Microsoft over it. So instead, they just got another studio to like remake the game entirely for the Wii.
Yeah.
Which wasn't half bad, but it wasn't a patch on the original.
Yeah, like, it's something about the original, but it's the same with a lot of N64 games. There's something about that era of Nintendo where they revolutionized so many things when it came to gaming.
Yeah.
Especially the platforming aspect and the puzzle-solving aspect.
Mario 64, that was like a whole new world of gaming that opened up.
Exactly, but again, like, you know, I enjoy Mario 64. I haven't finished it yet simply because I just haven't had the time, but it's a fun game. But for me personally, my favorite Mario is Super Mario Sunshine.
Really? I'd never played that actually, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, like, that was one of the few good games on the GameCube. Let's face it, GameCube didn't have much going
Yeah,
for
the
it.
Resident Evil remake.
I never played that, but I heard a lot of good stuff about it. But
Oh, it was so awesome.
Super Smash Bros. You gotta love that Super Smash Bros.
Eternal Darkness?
Pokemon
Oh.
Stadium. Oh, it was awesome. One of the coolest things about Pokemon Stadium was that you could connect your Pokemon that you had in your Pokemon game to the N64 game and see all your Pokemon up on screen in CGI with their names up, and you could battle against other people on there with their cartridges as well. It's just a really cool addition.
Yeah, that's what I really enjoyed when I got Pokemon Colosseum. Because I got the special edition Nintendo GameCube with Pokemon Colosseum, but I also had one of the very, 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 very rare English editions of Pokemon Box, which you could only ever get in this pack. You can never buy it separately outside of Japan. And that was my first experience like console Pokemon, and like seeing the Pokemon battle on the big screen and everything, same as on Pokemon Stadium as well.
It's like a person seeing a talking movie for the first time.
Yeah. It's kind of like, whoa, this is brilliant. How could I have never known about this before? And everything is.
It's a bit like the transition of original Game Boy to Game Boy Advance. That's how I felt seeing the game kind of like change its graphics and aesthetics.
Well, for me, it was more a case of the difference between GBA and the DS ones, because they had quite a bit of a difference between like third and fourth generation.
Am I the only one in this group who ever had a Dreamcast?
Yes.
You freak.
I don't know what possessed me to want one of those things.
Did you have Sonic Adventure or Crazy Taxi though?
I had both Sonic Adventures. I did get a Crazy Taxi when I got the PS2 though.
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube was one of my fondest memories as well.
Yeah.
And Crazy Taxi around at my cousin's place as well. Because that was so new to me as well. It's like, I've never played a game like this before. Like, racing around.
Racing down those hills to the tune of Offspring music. Just
yeah. It was a brilliant game. And you can get it on Steam now as well.
I always loved how, like, if you ran out of time while you were driving your fare to their destination, they would just jump out of the car while it was still moving.
I know.
And you don't see them, like, leave a big smear on the road or anything. They just vanish and puff out of existence.
Ta-ta for now.
It's like, I literally have 30 seconds left to live.
Get me to KFC or I will die.
What if the twist is that Crazy Taxi is actually Taxi for Ghosts?
Like, I never played Crazy Taxi. I always wanted to, but I played the equivalent of it, The Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yes.
Yes,
I
that was an
that
awesome
game.
game. Hard as balls when you reach the final level, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the early Lego games as well.
Oh, I played Echo. That's one of the games I played on
Lego.
PC.
Oh, we haven't talked about any fighting games yet.
Tekken.
Mortal Kombat.
Arcade.
The debate starts.
I had Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the PlayStation.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was just that was like my first ever 18 rated game, I think. I was just it was that I just the forbidden fruit angle, of course, made me want to play it even more.
I think that is part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when you're like 12 or something like that, you see these ones rated 15 and 18, and you're like, oh, it must be so cool. And then you realize, then when you get to like our age, you kind of look back and you think, oh, some of these are kind of shit. Oh my god, this one's rated 3+. It looks brilliant.
One of the first ever 15 rated games I ever played was Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and I remember just like when I first put it in, and that screen came up saying, "Warning: this game contains scenes of extreme violence and gore," and I just remember going, "Oh god, this is gonna be awesome."
Yeah.
That's actually just made me think of something. What's the scariest video game that you played as a kid?
Well, yeah, Resident Evil 2. I remember that was probably one of the scariest games I played at a young age, especially that moment where you go into the interrogation room. There's like a one-way mirror on the wall, and then the moment you collect the item, a licker bursts through it. A licker is basically just a human turned inside out, kind of monster.
Yeah.
Still get shivers even now.
Oh god, yes. In fact, the primitive graphics sometimes actually make it more creepy, because the lack of defined features for them kind of make them look just more unnatural.
I think they could have actually made more use of back in like the days where they were trying to focus so much on making things in more detail. They didn't realize what they could do with what they actually had.
Yeah.
Oh,
like what you're saying there.
there was another
like
survival horror game from the PS1 era, Nightmare Creatures.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah. Cadicarus has spoken
Yeah,
about
it was pretty damn creepy as well. Actually, I remember it's like it takes place in Victorian times. It's got a nice sort of gothic horror, really Hammer-esque kind of taste to it. Yeah, like you get to fight zombies, gargoyles, the abominable snowman.
Awesome.
Always good. Always good.
Like it's like you had like the male character you played as had like a big cane that he would twirl around to attack enemies with.
Oh, so cool.
And like,
did he have a top hat?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm playing that
Do
game
not
just for the
have
top
you
hat.
invading my city like this. No, but if you timed it just right, you could decapitate a zombie with it.
See, I didn't really play many scary games. I think it's because my parents didn't want me to. I can't remember the reasons why. Because I was quite scared easily as a child. But I do remember kind of like casual games scaring me. One that stood out was CivNet. Whenever you would have a war start with an opponent on CivNet, the music scared me so much I would just hide behind a chair. It just came out of nowhere. It's like, you're at war. Oh no, I don't want war.
I want peace.
Please,
Horrible.
I want world
Give
peace.
peace a chance.
Give peace a chance.
But there's also, like I said, Abe's Odyssey. That scared me as well, because like there was moments where you had to really, really run and climb away from like these terrifying-looking creatures, sometimes in shadows, and it was just so unnerving. And like, just run, Abe, no!
Another great example of how the limitations of the PS1 era helped make a much more frightening game. The original Silent Hill.
Yes.
Oh yes, the use of fog to cover the limited draw distance really helped, kind of defined the series basically, and how it would generate fear by having the player never know how far away the nearest monster could be.
Yeah, it's just that constant unknown.
Yeah.
Like, ah.
Oh yeah. Just all you'd have to rely on was that little radio you carried that would emit static anytime a monster was near.
Radio. What's going on with that radio?
Oh yeah, and the beautiful voice acting of that era, just real Oscar caliber performances.
Yep.
Oh god,
Barry.
Oh god, you were almost a Jill sandwich.
Did any of you guys play any kind of like gimmicky, novelty, interactive PC games, if you know what I mean?
You mean LucasArts adventure games?
Sort of. I mean, like, one example would be like on my PC back when I had Windows 95. It came with a box full of all these games, but like they weren't in cases. They were just the CDs and just like a couple of like little interactive things. And some of the titles were Casper's Interactive Book, Batman and Robin Cartoon Maker, those kind of games.
I had Simpsons Cartoon Maker or Cartoon Studio.
Oh, I had that. Yes, and
I had one for Toy Story 2.
I remember the Simpsons one. I actually planned out like seasons. I was going to do seasons of each episode, and like I gave each episode a title, and I was like, I was going to be committed to this whole thing, and I was like, but there's so many limitations that I just gave up and thought that I can't tell stories with this. You just make them do random things, and that's it.
But wait, I think we should touch on the LucasArts classics, like Monkey Island or Day of the Tentacle. No one's ever played any of these? Oh god.
No idea.
They're classics.
No, I haven't.
I want to play those though.
I know of them.
Yeah.
I'm aware of them.
Just even no matter how aggravating the puzzles got, you love those games for their quirky sense of humor. Like, you know, sometimes you get a puzzle that would require you to like combine a fish and a baseball to open a door.
Well, fishball.
So Day of the Tentacle is a particular favourite of mine. In fact, they're working on a remastered version of it for current generation consoles.
Not gonna lie, Day of the Tentacle sounds like a hentai parody. I'm just gonna put this out there.
FoulFanged's childhood memory.
You're crushing my childhood.
I may be a Let's Player, but I have very little actual gaming experience, at least as a kid. Like, you know, because I could never afford games or anything like that, and I never went out and borrowed them like James did or anything, so I just don't have much.
What?
Like, a lot of my nostalgia is either PlayStation 1 or when the Wii first came out.
That's nostalgia?
The original, like, the very first release date of the Wii, which is, like, basically when I got it, yes. Like, the stuff, like, right at the beginning, like The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which I never completed until 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how long it took me to complete that fucking game. The fucking fish!
You want to talk
fucking fish and that fucking cat!
Yeah, I almost completed that game, but as soon as I killed the boss, the power went out.
Oh, no!
And I was like, nope, not finishing it again. No, fuck that. Then I just flipped the table over and walked out of the room.
Yeah, that took courage.
Oh, so many games that I was never able to complete as a child.
Oh, I don't think we touched upon the classic Street Fighter 2.
I hardly ever played that, except I actually played it in arcade.
Yeah, same. I only played Street Fighter in arcades.
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
I had it on. We had it on Mega Drive. But had a young.
Oh, we'll get you.
Yeah.
Mr. Fancy Pants with your Street Fighter 2
Yeah.
and your Mega Drive.
I always loved playing as Blanca just because he was so weird looking.
Yeah, same. He stood out from the crowd.
Yeah, he's fucking green with orange hair. What else do you have to do to stand out?
Does look a bit cooler than Ryu or Ken.
Yeah, I'll give that.
No, I was always more Tekken than Street Fighter.
Same.
Oh, Tekken
Like-
2, like that was like one of the greatest games of its era.
I was actually, when I was out in Canada, I went bowling with some people one time. Not even joking, there was a Tekken 2 arcade machine in there.
Ooh.
I was like, screw bowling, I'm playing this thing. Like, I'll take a break to have some pizza, that's about it. Tekken 2 was my jam.
There's a museum near where I live in Bradford. Yeah, there's a Bradford Museum of Film and Technology, and
been there.
there is a specific part of the museum where it just has retro games you can just play.
Oh.
Like just the whole place is just full of loads and loads and loads. Like it has arcade games.
Fantastic.
It's got arcade games, but it's also got like TVs with the original consoles, and you can just sit there and play it. But the arcade, you actually still have to pay for them.
Yeah.
They're not free to play. You have to actually put coins in.
Fun
But
fact.
it's really cool.
Got like Tetris and stuff in there, haven't they, on the actual proper
I
arcade?
think so. Yeah.
Because I've been there before, and I went in there, I was just like, oh, this is like nerdgasm right here.
It was so cool. I think that was the place we stayed for. When I went with my university class recently, that's the bit we just stayed in for half the day. It was just the coolest part.
Yeah, definitely. I liked those. I know you can kind of call it nostalgia gaming, but those novelty pinball machines.
Oh, I love playing
Like
those.
when it's about like a movie or a TV series or something like that. Like I played a Terminator one, I played a Scooby-Doo one, Indiana Jones. I never actually played a Spider-Man one, but like there was so many awesome novelty pinball machines and everything like that. I loved playing them.
Oh yeah, pinball was awesome.
They were great fun.
I even played like this little pinball thing on my computer all the time.
I played it more
Nice.
on the computer than actual arcade version.
I actually had Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire for the Game Boy Advance. And stupidly, as a kid, because I was like ignorant as fuck, I thought that if you caught a Pokemon in the pinball one, you could trade it to your copy of Ruby or Sapphire. And I could never catch a Chinchou or a Feebas in Ruby or Sapphire. And I finally got a Chinchou in the pinball. I was just like, yes, I'm going to send that over. And I realized, no, you can only trade Pokemon between pinball ones, not the actual games. And I was so disappointed. It was just so crushing.
Most pinball I ever played was the Casinoopolis section of Sonic Adventure.
Yes.
In fact, there were two of them. There was there was one based on the Nights into Dreams series as well.
And they were really weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Sonic himself is the pinball.
yeah. Which is a throwback to the original Sonic Pinball game for the Mega Drive.
Oh yeah, I think that's on the Sonic collection.
Yeah, I've got it on Steam and everything as well. I actually did a playthrough of Sonic Adventure, so I played those pinball games. And they were actually pretty good fun. Annoying at times. They were pretty good fun.
Right. Oh, classic Sonic. Just.
Oh, yeah. I had original plug-in and plays of them. Yeah, we had, like, my dad had two. One of them was an Atari, so it was literally just like you'd plug in the Atari, like it just had one audio feed and the video feed for.
Remember Sonic and Knuckles? That special cartridge that came in, where if you could link one of the old Sonic games on top of it, you could play through the levels as Knuckles.
I did not, but that is awesome.
Well, not for like Sonic 2 and Sonic 3. You couldn't do it for Sonic 1. Like, if you just plugged it in, you'd get, like, a special screen where all the main characters, like, just line up and just wiggle their fingers at you.
Naughty, naughty.
Naughty boy.
You're naughty, naughty woman. I am naughty man. Naughty, naughty man. Oh, jeez. Why do I remember that song?
Do you guys have any memories of the first game you ever completed?
Toy Story 2 was the first game I ever completed. And it was 100% as well.
Time Crisis. No one knows Time Crisis.
I do. I play. Yeah, sorry. I have played Time Crisis in arcades.
Yeah, I had it on PS1. I even had the G-Con light gun attachment.
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody's fancy.
I know. I took my gaming seriously.
Super cereal.
Super serial.
See, the games I remember completing were Celebrity Deathmatch on PS1, but I did have help from my brother for that. But I do remember completing Dragon Ball Z Final Bout and being so pleased with myself. One of the rare games I actually finished. I was like, yes! I had no one to share this victory with. I was like, to myself, thinking, yes, I'm awesome.
Well, I'm the exact opposite of James. I completed a game called Disney's Mickey's Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse.
Oh, wait.
Nice.
I'm thinking of that game where it's Donald and Mickey and you can travel through all these magical worlds.
That's Kingdom Hearts.
No. World of Illusions, that's it, World of Illusions.
I believe that's supposed to be like some sort of like half sequel to it. I have no idea.
I think there was, yeah. There was one, yeah.
Yeah, but Mickey's Magical Mirror sucks. It's just like a point-and-click adventure game, but played on your GameCube. So it's slow.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with point and click when it's a mouse.
I also remember when I was a teenager, I actually bought a Sega Mega Drive again, but most of the games that were available at the store that sold that Mega Drive weren't that good. There was things like, I think there was this game called Generation X where you had to help Aerosmith defeat these evil anti-music people, and you could only throw vinyl discs. It was the silliest thing ever.
Sounds amazing.
It was brilliant. And Aerosmith were in the game themselves, actually in the game, and they congratulate you each level or something. And it was really silly but
Oh,
fun.
hell yeah.
So-
Totally
like a-
getting this and let's play
Like a precursor to that game, Brutal Legend.
Kinda, just more silly and
More silly?
really silly, very silly. But I also got a game called Wiz and Liz, which is one of the trippiest things ever. You were like a wizard, and you had to collect bunnies on these planets, and the way that it played was so strange because the slightest movement, you go really fast. It was like being on a drug. You were a wizard, and you were chasing rabbits on a planet, and the game was going really fast.
I just remembered. Did anyone ever play a Die Hard trilogy for the PS1?
No.
Oh, I love that. That was also one of the first games we ever got with our PS1. It was like three games for the price of one, essentially, because basically what it is all three of the original Die Hard movies are adapted with different gameplay styles. So there's like
Nice.
the first section based on Die Hard 1 is done as a third-person shooter, where like you have to like clear each floor of the Nakatomi Plaza, like shoot all the terrorists, release all the hostages. The second part based on Die Hard 2 is an on-the-rails shooter, like Virtua Cop. Yeah, you have to go through the airport and clear out all the terrorists. And then the final section based on Die Hard with a Vengeance is a driving game. It's like a precursor to GTA. Basically, you have to like speed around the streets of New York in a taxi, disarming bombs. Yeah, but whenever I played it, there was one feature that made me play that third segment the most. You could run over innocent bystanders. And if you switched the view to like inside the car itself, you could actually get this neat little effect of their blood being wiped off the windscrreen whenever you ran them over.
Remind me, are you playing John McClane while doing this?
Yes.
This is twisted.
If you do run over people, he'll actually get it. He'll actually say, "Sorry, pal."
Just to make up for the fact he's breaking character.
Yeah.
I'm still human.
Oh, it's hilarious. The guys that got to impersonate like Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson are just awful. That just adds to its charm, to be honest.
Yeah. Just like most voice acting in those early games.
Are you aiming for these people?
Sounds like Chris Tucker.
It's probably
Damn, there's someone hostage around here.
If there's any game I would love to see like remade for current generation consoles, it would be that.
I would say Abe's Odyssey, but they're already doing that.
Oh, really?
So. Yes, I'm looking really forward to
nice.
it. It's called New and Tasty. It looks really awesome.
Nice.
New and tasty.
Yes.
Yummy.
Fresh.
I've got Abe in my
Delicious.
tummy.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. I've got aim in my tongue, and I feel like something.
Here's a question. Are there any nostalgic video games that you grew up with and you've played again as an adult and you felt as if they didn't hold up?
Lego Rock Raiders. I didn't realize just how terrible the controls were. Like, I remember it was so much fondness and nostalgia, and I loved it so much. And then I went back, and it was kind of like, this is awful. This is so awful. Why did I do this to myself? Why?
I did have another go at playing Goldeneye recently, and really, the gunplay really doesn't really measure up to what I'm used to with modern shooters. Sadly enough,
Yeah.
like you can't really duck or anything. Like,
Yeah.
well, not efficiently like the way you can in like most modern shooters, but no. Still, its place in history is undeniable.
This may be going a little bit outside nostalgia, but I tried replaying Kingdom Hearts 2 again, and even though I think it's still a good game, I don't think it's as good as the first Kingdom Hearts. Just a few things with the battle system, like with the whole like press triangle to do everything sort of thing, and that stupid water level that is just a musical in the middle of my action
I remember
game.
that.
Oh, yeah.
And just a bunch of bullshit with the story and all that.
That reminded me of that Yahtzee review of one of the Silent Hill games, where he's like talking about how they tried crowbarring a romantic subplot into it, and he goes, it'd be like some bizarre parallel universe where all movies, regardless of genre, had to incorporate at least one line dancing sequence.
That would be a brilliant role. I'd love to see Avengers again like that.
I would love to see The Great Escape like that.
Yes.
Like, imagine a line dance off between the prisoners of war and the Nazis.
Well, the thing is, I've not seen Schindler's List, but I would now if it had that rule.
Saw would have a great line dancing sequence, probably.
What, line dancing to their untimely demise?
Yeah, they would have to line dance with their feet cut off.
Oh god.
Anyway, what would you say is your favorite nostalgic game and has really, really held up big time,
Hogs of War.
despite its racism?
Because, yeah, even despite the racism, because the battle system was really good. Just the general gameplay mechanics and the level designs were really, really well done. So if you just take out all of like the funny racist parts and everything like that, it's actually a very, very well done game underneath. So even now, it still holds up. The controls are still good, even compared to what you get a lot these days. So I think for me, that's the one that's held up the most. Because I tried playing it again not too long ago, and I could still just get straight into it and have fun instead of having to like readjust back to how controls were then, which is, well, shit. This was like one of the few exceptions, and it's held up because of that, but also because the humor hasn't dated either, admittedly. So that, for me, that's it. Hogs of War, and I highly implore anybody who can to play that game, because
I think it's available on PlayStation Store.
Probably. They were supposed to make a sequel to it for the PlayStation 2, but they were never able to. And Rick Mail was supposed to come back and do all the voices and everything as well, so like, I know. I think we should set up a petition to get like
To resurrect Rick Mail.
Yeah.
We can make
you know.
Drop Dead Fred too.
Yeah!
Oh boy.
Put that on Kickstarter.
Hell yeah. But no, Hogs of War for me, definitely.
I'm gonna have to go for GTA San Andreas. That is still.
Yes.
I felt that it was where the series peaked. It completely embraced its cartoonish roots, and after that, the liberal helpings of grit and realism into the series just made it much less fun for me. So, I mean, come on, GTA San Andreas is where you can get a bloody jetpack. Yeah, there's just no topping that.
For me, it would have to be Kingdom Hearts. It is the very reason why I first got a PS2, and I just love that mix of Disney and Final Fantasy. It just works for me.
Totally.
And the only problem with it is it's still very slow sort of game, like the combat and all that, and especially like the gummy flying.
Yeah,
part.
oh my god.
Like those were so slow. But the story was nice. I do like the character of Sora, and it's still a great game overall.
Awesome.
Still need to play that.
Yeah.
For me, it's something quite obscure. It was a PC game that I played as a child, and I remembered it, and I did play it quite a lot, but I wasn't that good at it. But then years later, as an adult, or a teenager, I can't remember, I played it, and I got really far, and I felt very proud of myself that I managed to get through it, because it was a strategy game. Warwind was pretty much about 4 different races. I can't really remember the names that very well. There was Iagra, I think. They were like some bushes. They were just bushes with hands and eyes. There was Oblinox, which were kind of like they were pigs on motorbikes. There was what was it now? But there was all these hippie aliens. This was a serious game, by the way. Serious tone, very serious.
Getting high on their space pot.
But there was Faroon, which was like these purple aliens with giant long heads. But it was all very serious.
Thank God you said heads.
It was all very serious and very creepy and very tense, and all you really had to do was just try to build a civilization without it getting destroyed, or you could go out and destroy it. You could do what you want, basically. It was a very free-form kind of game, but the charm of it was how atmospheric it was, and how imaginative it was, and how the races looked all strange and surreal, and the world looked surreal. It was just a very strange kind of game, and I just loved it. Played it again, it was just brilliant, and like, when the leader of your race is hurt, it's terrifying, because there's a picture up on the corner of you seeing them suffer, and that you hear the sound of them going it lights up red, and it's a brilliant game, and like I really wish I could play it again. I tried to play it on like a new PC and it wouldn't work, but like I'd love to do it again. It's a really good game. It really holds up.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
After you saying all that, dude, the only thing I can think of is like a bush with like Mr. Potato Head feet and arms just running about chasing people. Like, die!
Don't maybe put on my angry eyes.
Can we please make that the thumbnail? Well, I have a question here. What game did you never get a chance to play as a kid that you wish you could have?
Ooh, good question.
Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I always wanted to play that, even though I heard now that it's a piece of crap.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
But I still played the crap out of it.
Yeah, I just wanted to play it because I've watched the movie of it like over 100 times as a kid. I was obsessed with it, so I had to play it, but I didn't have a PS1.
Oh, really scouring my brain trying to think of
I am.
Well, I think for me, it was kind of pretty much anything on N64, but mostly Super Mario 64. Because I had so many of my friends going on about how amazing it was and how much fun they had playing the N64 and playing that game in particular. Although also Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day came up a lot as well. I think it was definitely Mario 64 that I wish I'd gotten a chance to play when I was younger. But didn't have an N64, so...
I think I thought of one actually now. I never got to play Perfect Dark on N64.
I've heard a lot of good about that.
Oh yeah, I just got to play that recently on like the digital store and all that.
I loved GoldenEye, so I thought I'm surprised I never got around to playing Perfect Dark in my youth. I think it might have been because it was 18 rated actually in the UK.
Yeah, it was. I think that's probably got something to do with it.
For me, I'm not really sure, because there weren't many games that I saw and I thought, oh, I really want to play that. If I wanted to play the game, I played it. I got hold of it somehow, or I found a friend that had it. But I do have a really strange one that It's really odd. It's not really. It's not as strange as the one I just mentioned, but like
It's Leisure Suit Larry.
No, it's not. It's not so much as the content that's strange. It's the kind of like I don't know. It's a game where you learn language with asterisks, and there was a comic in the game, and it stopped. It just stopped as a to be continued. I didn't know how you're supposed to continue the game. Maybe I didn't know if there was a sequel to it, and it really frustrated me. And the cool thing was that you could take that comic and put your voice over it, which is pretty awesome. You could also do that with the Shrek DVD. You put a Shrek DVD in a PC, it gives you scenes, and you could put your voice over it. Me and my brother used to do that for hours.
What sad, pathetic little children you are.
We like dubbing.
I remember when you used to be able to put DVDs into your computer, it would have games on it as well. I did that so much with the first 2 Harry Potter games. Well, Harry Potter movies, sorry.
What about DVD games? Games that you play on your DVD player that had like the worst controls ever.
Pokemon Heroes had one, and I played the fuck out of it, because I loved that movie.
I remember playing the Spy Kids 3D game, and like it was so crap because it was a racing game, and you had to play it on the DVD, and it made no sense, and it didn't matter what you pressed. Suddenly Sylvester Stallone was like, "Oh, game over." It's like, I didn't do anything, Sylvester.
God damn you, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, just all the DVD games I played were just unplayable. I just couldn't even play them at all. I think
that's why they phased them out.
Yeah.
Just stopped. They gave up.
I think there was a decent game on Lilo and Stitch where you can make up your own like monster on there that was kind of cool. Not that imaginative, but comparing it to other DVD games, I remember it being alright.
Yeah.
It's comparing shit to a
Yes.
burning bag of shit.
A catalogue of turd.
Yes. I think that I rate this somewhere between a steaming pile of horse manure and a steaming pile of cow manure.
Decisions.
Okay, that's all we have time for. I hope you enjoyed listening to us talking about nostalgic video games. I've been Jambareeqi.
I've been the BlueHairedCyborg, and I've been really feeling it. Just to throw in something new there.
I've been FoulFangedFiend. Nothing new to add there.
And I've been Whyboy. I'm very pretty. That's my thing new.
That you are.
Yes, sir, you very much are.
You can call Whyboy at this number.
To access the Whyboy sex hotline, please call.
Yes, dialed 1-800-FUCK you.
Bye!
It's funny because it's Juan and you're Canadian.